Hello, welcome to Videos by Damios1976. I hope to help new players and veteran players alike with information that I have gathered through my playtime over all of the different Fallout series, as well as Fallout 76. Hope you enjoy. Today's video is going to be on special stats. My personal opinions. You may have your own. You may know better than me. You may know different than me. I'm just going to explain these and talk about them a little bit. There is plenty of guides and or other information out there diving deeper into the different stats. Take that information with a grain of salt. Not all of it is 100% correct, nor am I saying mine is 100% correct. This is my input on them. Strength first. Strength is a measure of your raw physical power. It affects how much you can carry and the damage of all melee attacks. Now, raw physical power and how much you can carry. Basically, the raw physical power is extra filling for the story, extra meat. Your character doesn't change its looks depending on how high your strength is. It doesn't look more buff. It doesn't have bigger shoulders, anything like that. It is a straight raw number. Affects how much you can carry. Every point of strength gives you +5 to your carry weight. That's it. It's pretty simple. All the damage of melee attacks. There is a scale that is built into the game's play. Melee attacks, whether they're unarmed attacks, one-handed attacks, two-handed attacks, all are affected by strength. Different weapons, different damages. Experiment yourself. There's different perks that also raise the different abilities. You have unarmed attack perk cards, you have one-handed attack perk cards, and you have two-handed attack perk cards. All of them raise damages. Depending on your build, you might not even need strength. I've seen plenty of people running around with no strength on their characters and still managing to play just fine. Moving on. Next would be perception. Perception affects your awareness of nearby enemies, your ability to detect stealthy movements, and your weapon accuracy in VATS. Myself personally, I find this a little buggy, as it doesn't do, I think, what they meant it to do. Perception of nearby enemies, I believe it should always show red dots on your compass, as long as there's enemies nearby, if your perception is high enough. They tend to show up and disappear on mine, so I don't know if it's purposeful or if my perception isn't high enough. Your maximum stats raw are 15, but I have other things equipped that are increasing my perception. There are items that reduce perception as well. Perception, the description is right there. Detect stealthy movements. Again, if somebody's trying to sneak up on you, and this is for players, I don't think I've ever seen any enemies sneak up on anybody, with the exception of the assaultrons that turn invisible, and the robo-brains that blow smoke grenades out. Other than that, I don't believe there's any sort of PvE sneaking. So that would be more effective on PvP. And to detect stealthy movements, that more affects on your compass again. It will blink if somebody's trying to use stealth, and you'll see, not the compass itself, but their dot, their directional pointer on your compass will be red if you're already engaged in PvP, and it will blink on and off if they're trying to use stealth. Again, dependent on your perception. I believe if your perception is low, you won't even see their dot. However, on the mini-map, there are other different things. If somebody is sneaking on the mini-map, I don't believe it shows their dot at all, no matter your perception. Other than that, that's that description. Your weapon accuracy in VATS. This has some interesting rumors out there about it. People say it affects your weapon accuracy all around, which it doesn't. There are perk cards out there that affect accuracy in general, which would affect in VATS and outside of VATS. And then there are mutations that also affect accuracy. If it's just general accuracy, it's in and out of VATS. Where if it says specifically VATS, that is your basically auto-targeting is the best way I can describe it, which has its own set of bugs. Not really bugs per se, but there's a little bit of a wait time. When you go into VATS, it'll pop up and say the percentage that you have to hit. And then there's 1 or 2 seconds that you should wait before pulling the fire button for any kind of a weapon, because otherwise it's going to miss. I don't know what the deal is with that gap. It's affecting your accuracy. 95% is the highest you will see. Whether you have stuff stacked that should give you 150% or not, there's always going to be a 5% room for failure. I have never seen 100% accuracy, even on stuff that says gives you 100% accuracy. It still shows as 95%. Again, not sure if this is intentional or just a graphics glitch or what, and the math actually works. I don't know. There are plenty of, again, videos and extra sources out there for you to do more research on it if you wish. This is just a general overview video. Endurance. Endurance is a measure of your overall physical fitness. It affects your total health, the action points drain from sprinting, and your resistance to disease. Okay, again, there's no physical effect visually on your character, so you won't be more slender or more chiseled or lean than if you were high endurance or low endurance. So again, it's just overall physical fitness is just a filler for the paragraph, if you will. It affects total health, which is your hit points. If you can see down the bottom, I have hit points 266 of 275. Oh, down to 265 because I'm suffering from dehydration. Due to my radiation, which is a little bit of red on my hit points bar, you can see that I'm only at 297 of 310. Anyhow. And now I have a bonus to endurance because of some of the foods I ate. I'll do a separate video on foods and drink at a later date. Possibly the next video. I'm not sure. Anyhow, back to the description of endurance. But your health is directly proportionate to your endurance. There are equipments out there that increase endurance. There are equipments out there that increase hit points. There are mutations that increase endurance. There are mutations that decrease endurance. Just depending on your build, depends on how you come out of it. Action point drain from sprinting. Now, if you tend to be running, whether it's towards an enemy or away from an enemy, you're going to notice your action points are going to go down. Again, higher endurance means they're going to go down slower. Lower endurance, they're going to go down a little faster. Pretty self-explanatory. Your resistance to disease. I don't know the exact difference to that, but you can get disease from drinking unboiled water, dirty water, or toxic water. If it's boiled water or purified water, you will not get diseases. You can also get diseases from eating uncooked meats or uncooked vegetables. If you cook them, which is quite simple using either boiled water and wood, or some items, a lot of items are just wood and the item. As long as they're cooked, no diseases. You can also get diseases from animals or enemies in general. The range of diseases is quite large, ranging anywhere from things that cause bonus rad damage to you, all the way up to and including things that lower your special stats. Diseases are not a good thing. There is a mutation out there that does damage to enemies based on the number of diseases you have. It works. It does work. I don't know what the damage ratio is to how many diseases. Oh, and one other way to get diseases is to sleep on beds and or sleeping bags that are straight on the ground. So mattresses and sleeping bags are probably not the best thing to sleep in. I'm not 100% sure whether or not in your own personal camp is the same, or if it's only out in the world. I'm not sure. I'm sorry. Moving on. Charisma. Charisma is the ability to lead and help others. Filler statement. There is no benefit to having a high charisma and just being in a group. It's all based on the perk cards. The only thing having a high charisma effects without perk cards is your rewards from events when you're in a team. And again, this is only a more aspect. A lot of rumor abounds about getting legendary equipment having a high charisma. Again, that would only be from events when you're in a team. And I'm not even sure if your teammates have to also take part for it to take into effect or not. But again, that's going into more of the description down below. It says it allows you to share higher point perks and also affects your rewards from group quests and prices when you barter. I covered some of the group quests. Group quests are events. Things like in Flatwoods, Fertile Soil is an event that happens quite often. The rewards you get from that would be affected by a higher charisma. When you're first starting out, all of your specials are at 1 point. As you level up to level 50, you get to add a point each level. After level 50, you get to decide whether you want to move a point from one to the other to another, or leave it alone and choose a perk card. The choice is yours. Prices when you barter. Again, that is affected directly by charisma as well as perk cards. Other than that, it doesn't change your looks. It doesn't give you sparkling white teeth or make your beard more full or your hair more flowing. I have actually seen stuff on the internet saying that their characters' looks are affected by higher charisma. If they're seeing this, it's got to be some sort of a mod on the PC version. I don't see it on PS4. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just because I'm a guy. I don't know. However, again, the description is quite simple. Group quests, not separate loot, not individual loot, not while you're by yourself. Any group quest should be affected by a higher charisma. I don't know if it involves being in a team, not being in a team. I would assume, because it does say group quests, that you must be in a group. Or that could just be, even as an individual, because an event can be completed by multiple people not in a group. If anybody's interested in helping me test this, please let me know with a comment or send me a PSN message if I'm already on your friends list. We can test it out. Moving on. Intelligence. Intelligence is a measure of your overall mental acuity and affects your ability to hack terminals, the condition and durability of items that you craft, and the return you get from scrapping. Okay, so intelligence does affect a lot of things. Again, there is a lot of misinformation out there about intelligence affecting the ability to hack terminals. What it will do directly is remove multiple choices. If you have a very low intelligence and you hack a terminal, let's say, for example, you have 15 words to choose from. Compared to a high intelligence hacking that same terminal, you might only have 5 words to choose from. I don't know if it having a 40 or a 50 intelligence through equipment actually reduces it right down to, oh, you can just click the one word that shows up. I don't know. I haven't tested that. But that is what it affects. There is tons of information out there about hacking. Any and all of the little tidbits of information that come from hacking in the other games, pretty much it's stayed the same through all iterations of the game. Hacking brings up a screen with multiple choice words and 4 or 5 choices. Choice abilities, I should say. If you guess wrong so many times, you get locked out. There are little tricks and tidbits to getting your choices back. I won't go into that now. I'll let you explore that information yourself on the internet. The condition and durability of items that you craft. This is why I have a high intelligence. I have minuses right now due to mutations. If I put on my perks, some of my perks will lower that deduction, as well as some of my equipment will also lower that deduction, or technically raise my intelligence, which lowers the deduction. What that means is when you craft an item, which I will go over to items to use a little visual aid here. If you look under where it says level 50 and condition, no, I didn't craft this. Obviously, I found it at level 50. I'm just using this as a descriptor. Condition, and you see the outer white box and then the inner grayish colored line with a bright line going through it. The outer box is the overall condition, and the gray box on the inside is the what's the word I'm looking for? Durability. So the outside box is the overall condition, and the inside, no, the outside box is the overall durability, and the inside box line is the condition. Now, that little bit of a darker gray line, I'll go back again. That little bit of a darker gray line compared to the brighter white line, or off-white line, whatever you want to call that, is the condition. The brighter white line is because I used perk cards and high intelligence when I repaired this item, so it gave me bonus condition and durability, or bonus durability. Yeah, bonus condition. The words are interweavable and I keep mixing them up. I'm sorry. So that's what that means. Only when you craft items will it affect that outside box. Other stats affect the weapons found and armor found and their durability and condition. We'll get to that in a moment. And the return you get from scrapping. This one is a little wonky in my opinion. When you scrap weapons and armor and junk, the number is affected how much you get back with the with higher intelligence. I don't really notice much of a difference between having a base raw 15 intelligence and having a modified 30 intelligence. I personally don't see much of a difference, maybe 1 or 2 points on certain items. I have yet to actually really see a difference on regular junk items. For the most part, those are pretty straight up. I tend to try to jack up my intelligence when scrapping, just in case it may be some hidden algorithm that doesn't show on the open screen and it actually just gives me the bonus stuff. I don't know. I'd rather be safe than sorry. But that's the return from scrapping. There are perk cards that also supposedly give you bonus stuff to scrapping. Again, I haven't noticed much of a difference with those. There is also magazines you can read which affect scrapping. Let me think. I think that's all I've seen. There might be actually a bobblehead that affects scrapping. I'm not sure. I haven't seen that yet. If anybody knows for a fact or knows for sure, please make a comment and let me know. But that's intelligence. In previous games, intelligence affected how much experience you got for completing quests and your kill experience and so on and so forth. It does not do that in Fallout 76. Fallout 76 does just what it says here in the description. Affects your abilities to hack terminals, condition durability of items that you craft, and the return you get from scrapping. That's it. Does not affect intelligence, does not affect how often you learn mods from scrapping. It doesn't affect any of that stuff. It does simply what it says here. There are videos out there saying that if you have a high intelligence, you have a better chance of learning mods from scrapping things. I think that's bupkis. Personally, I have a character that doesn't have any bonus points into intelligence whatsoever, and I still learn mods from scrapping stuff. So, does it affect your ability to learn mods from scrapping stuff? I really don't think it does. I may be wrong, but I don't think it does. Moving on. Agility. Agility is a measure of your overall finesse and reflexes. Filler for the paragraph. Doesn't affect anything with that first sentence. It doesn't make you be able to balance on a beer bottle, because you can't balance on a beer bottle in the game. However, it affects the number of action points in VATS and your ability to sneak. Again, that's all it does. It affects your action points in VATS and your ability to sneak. Action points in VATS are separate from action points outside of VATS. The reason there is a difference is because some builds rely on VATS, which I tend to use VATS quite often, being a sniper. Especially when I'm not able to snipe and the enemies are running at me. I will use VATS to help me aim a little faster. That's why I use VATS, but you can use perk cards and whatnot to affect VATS to make yourself be able to target limbs, which includes the head. So you got head shots, arm shots, leg shots, torso shots. All of that is affected in VATS with certain perks. There are weapons that use VATS only for bonuses. There are magazines that affect VATS. I believe there's some bobbleheads that affect VATS. I'm not sure which one's the name of them off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure there are. So VATS action points are slightly different from outside VATS action points. Inside VATS action points are affected by agility. Outside VATS action points are affected by endurance to the point of running. As you can see at the bottom right of my screen, or this information box, AP is action points, and I currently have 46. And your ability to sneak. What that also means is, as you're walking, how much noise you make. Stepping on a dry twig, stepping on dry leaves. If you are a sniper or an assassin who's using melee to try to sneak up on enemies, so on and so forth, you're going to want to have a high agility, and you're going to want to try to stay as low weight as possible. Weight does affect your ability to sneak as well. It doesn't state that anywhere, but I've tested it. Walking in power armor, it's harder to sneak up on something than walking in just clothes. Back to the description of agility. As I was saying, action points in VATS and the ability to sneak. I was talking about how lighter armors and higher agility will help you sneak better. I do not know if this affects the showing of the red dot on the compass or not to your enemies. I do know that sneaking is a little wonky in the effect of PvE because I have used suppressed weapons as well as have a high agility as well as been invisible for the initial shot, and the other enemies will still basically rush right to me. So I don't know if that's just a glitch, or if I'm just unlucky, or if maybe my perk cards aren't set up right on this other character. I'm not 100%, but I've noticed that the sneaking thing is a little bit wonky. Again, my personal experience. I've tried looking up information on sneaking, and all I see is a lot of hearsay and conjecture on how it works. That is why I went along with the whole weightless and lighter weight affects sneaking point of view. I know you can, however, sneak around enemies and whatnot with higher agility and sneak perks. I think it might just be a little wonky with the initial shot and how it puts you into caution mode and danger mode while sneaking. I'm not 100% sure the algorithms that they use and what exactly affects those effects, or affects those effects. However, that is agility in a nutshell. Your ability to sneak and your action points in VATS. On to luck. Luck is a measure of your general good fortune. Filler. Affects the recharge rate of critical hits. When you're in VATS, you have a critical hit bar. Every time you use VATS for an attack, it levels up or raises the critical hit bar. The higher luck, the faster that bar will hit maximum. And then you can, the next shot done in VATS can be used as a critical. Occasionally, it automatically uses it as a critical. I don't know if this is a meant fact or if it's accidental. But when you go into VATS, you'll see the button to push triangle says critical shot. So I think that means it activates critical. I don't know what causes the auto critical. I don't know if it's just leveling it up so far and it auto does it or not. But it does help in the recharge of your critical hits. There are perks that make it charge faster or make the critical hits use less of it, so you can do more critical hits. I know there's actually a build that was out there that is built strictly around VATS and criticals. Again, builds is a word that describes how your character is put together. For the gamers who want to be the best at something, is how you want to build your character. Personally, I'm looking at the long term of this game, so I'm looking more for fun builds and usability builds, which is why I went crafter and sniper. Back to luck. As well as condition and durability of items that you loot. Now, if you remember condition and durability from intelligence, It's the same thing here with luck, except it's when you loot things. So your weapons and armor that you find in boxes and off of monsters or enemies, whatever you want to call them, will be affected by your luck stat. If you're into trading, one of the better things would be to have a high luck. That way the stuff that you're finding off of the monsters or mobs or enemies or whatever you decide to use as a term for them, as well as inside crates and chests and bags and however. I believe it also counts towards event rewards and quest rewards. I'm not 100%. I would have to test this with somebody who has a low luck compared to somebody who has a high luck and see if the rewards are different or the same. I wish there was actually a numerical value so we could see the difference, but as you can see, under condition, there's no numerical balance or variance or value. It just shows a box. And I can, if you look at, that's almost not noticeable. That's almost not noticeable. There we go. There's a good noticing difference. The instigating black powder has a much higher durability than the instigating hardened lever action rifle. As you can see, the bar moves. Okay, to show the difference, I went and got a bunch of radiation to lower my health, which activates my unyielding gears, which if I go into my stats, you will now see my intelligence is at 29. Oh, I could go up a little bit higher, but... Okay, do I have any aid items that will affect my intelligence? Let's see. Mentats give me +2. So, taking a mentat will give me +2 to intelligence and perception for 5 minutes. Okay, so as we can see now, my intelligence is at 30. Okay. So, now I'm going to craft an item that has a condition. We will just make a combat knife. How's that? Now you can see on the left-hand side, condition is there. It increases with level. Okay. So I'm going to make a level 50 because it'll be easier to show the difference there. So we're going to make a level 50 combat knife. Do I have enough stats to make 2? I do. Okay. Now we're going to exit. My intelligence is now at 15. Due to the mentats. It's normally 14 or something because of other abilities. Mutations and such. So again, I'm making a level 50 combat knife. They are both level 50, and right off the bat you can see a difference. Crafted with intelligence. See, the condition level is the same, but the durability level is different. So that's an interesting turn of events. I didn't realize that. And the damage is also different. So the damage on the combat knife is directly proportionate to the condition or durability? Interesting. But you can see a difference right there. I freshly created, I didn't have one in my inventory before. You see the difference between 15 and 30 for crafting. Not much. But I use it anyway because I'd rather have maximum condition. It didn't affect the value. I thought it would, but it doesn't. I think the value is set based on whether or not it's at 100%, and since this one is at 200% because of the high level crafting, and this one's at like 100 and we'll say 80%, maybe 190%, the prices are still the same because it's at 100%. However, if it were damaged below the 100% mark, the prices would be different. I don't have anything damaged really that's comparable in prices, so I can't really show you. I could always go damage one, by fighting with it. But it would take a while to get it below 200. Anyhow, that is my attempt at showing the difference in intelligence and crafting versus looting and finding. So the difference is not really that big. You still craft it at over 100%. There are perks that will allow you to repair things over 100%. So base intelligence is 15, which is maximum. I think it probably does a max level at that, and the other 15 would be how big it comes out of the crafting bench, whether it's full or not. Again, I'm not 100% certain, but I showed you the difference there between crafted and looting. So again, 15 luck or 30 luck, you'd probably be finding stuff at 100% to 200%. If you were jacked up to 30%, 30 luck. It does not affect the ability to find legendaries or how many star legendaries will show up or the star of the legendary item that you find. None of that is affected by luck or charisma. There's videos out there that say having a high charisma and high luck affect all that. Bupkis. BS. Conjecture. There is no numerical pointing to that whatsoever. Again, you see my luck is 5. I have found 3-star legendaries. I have found 1-star legendaries. I have gotten 2 legendaries off of monsters. And my luck is 5. My charisma is 3. So it's completely RNG, which stands for random number generator. There is no stat or perk that affects the star rating of legendaries or how often legendaries show up in an area or what you get off of a legendary. I have also gotten nothing off of 3-star legendaries. And I've gotten a 1-star off of a 3-star legendary. I've gotten a 3-star off of a 1-star legendary. And I've gotten nothing off of a 1-star legendary. I've gotten 3 stars off no-star legendaries. It's all random number generation. And whether or not your luck affects that, I highly doubt it. Because general good fortune, that's where they're getting this random thought process of luck affects your loots. I mean, if that were the case, then you would get the bonus experience for having a higher than your party member's charisma in a party. You know, for the leading and helping others. You'd get bonus charisma. You'd heal more. You'd heal while being next to them. You know, being in a party with them would automatically increase bonuses to selling and so on and so forth. And it doesn't. You get no more experience for having somebody with a 15 charisma in your party than you would with somebody having a 1 charisma in your party. There's no experience to gain difference. There's no accuracy difference. So the first sentence in charisma is your ability to lead and help others is filler, because mainly what that means is with the higher point perks. If we go into the perk cards and go to charisma, with me having a 3 charisma, I can only share a 1-star perk. So I can share my travel agent. See? I can put it on share. So anybody joining my party will have the same effects as travel agent. Now if I take it off, oh, it's already being shared, so there is no taking it off. Going to Happy Camper, if I click on it, it tells me I need at least 3 points of charisma for each perk point of the card to be shared. If you notice, this is a 2-point card. Up in the upper left there, it says 2. It's 2 stars. That would mean I'd need a 6 charisma to share level 2 of Happy Camper. I would need a 9 charisma to share max level Hard Bargain. Okay, you can only share 1 card, so if you want to share level 3 cards, you're going to want a 9 charisma. With a 1 charisma, you can't share anything because you need at least 3 to share a 1-star card. And it doesn't have to be a charisma card. Okay, you can share other cards as well. Like I have First Aid over here, 1 star. I can share that, but I can't share Power Patcher. Okay, I can't share Starch Jeans. I can't share Class Freak. I can't share Gunsmith. Okay, for Gunsmith, a level 5 skill, I would need to have a 15 charisma to be able to share that. Okay, that's how that works. That's what that description under charisma means about higher reward or higher perks. That's all that means. So the videos out there stating You know, you'll get better luck or better loots from having a high charisma and a high luck. Complete conjecture. Complete bupkis, in my opinion.